Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. We are here. It has been a little long. I was bad and this took me longer than I thought it was going to. If anyone is curious, my last video that I did, I was doing this same challenge where I'm drawing I'm doing the draw this in your style challenge basically, which is where you look at other people's art and you draw it in your own style. It's exactly how it sounds. So yeah, and I really wanted to do this challenge again because I've done it previously in the past if you want to see those videos too. But yeah, I wanted to do it again. And yeah, I was planning on posting this sooner, but it ended up taking a lot longer, and I really ended up taking my time on these two, which I am very happy with though. So I'm actually in the end happy with what I decided to do. But yeah, this first one that I'm doing, I loved it. The colors really like captivated me, and I love this person's style. It's very like unique. Kind of almost gives like, I almost want to say like, not Cartoon Network, I guess, maybe a little bit, I don't know, but I really loved it, and I loved like the pose too. And whenever I do these, also I know sometimes people will like make their own poses up and everything, but one, I'm lazy and I'm also uncreative, and so I end up just kind of copying the exact pose they do in the original. But I also kind of like doing that because then you can like really see like the exact like differences, because if they're in the exact same pose in the same angle, I feel like you can see the differences more. So that's gonna be my excuse for why I did that. But yeah, no, I don't usually draw this like pose, so I really wanted to try to like challenge myself also to do that, because my anatomy is not very good. It's a thing I continuously struggle with, and I actually, though, this time around when I was working on this piece, like I actually like I didn't struggle that bad. I do think though this is a problem I continuously have, where I think the head is a little bit too big, which is very frustrating. I need to figure that out. I need to fix that. I need to do more studies is what I need to do. Because it's a constant problem with all of my traditional stuff. Because I've been doing like a lot of, digital stuff recently, which I feel like you don't really see as much because I don't usually post digital stuff, even though I actually do have a video plan that I'm going to be doing soon that's digital. But a lot of my digital stuff I'm doing, I tend to post on my Tumblr though, if anyone's curious. I have a Tumblr also, so yeah, I don't know, but anyway, so like, but the nice thing about like digital art obviously is you can like fix that stuff. Like if I make the head too big, I can literally just size it down, and you can't do that when you're working on freaking traditional art. You can't just size the head again once you're done. And also I'm a lazy, I don't like erasing things, so, and also I tend to not even realize it until I'm like already coloring it, so it's my own. Anyway, it's a downward spiral. I will say though, the hands on this are not good. This one is not as bad, but the other one I did, yeah, I kind of winged it, and I could have tried harder, honestly. But yeah, the other one looks rough, and also I think they're like two different sizes. I was also like, I kind of ended up making like the hand just kind of floating in space. I feel like you can infer obviously that it's obviously still connected to them, but the way that I drew it, it just looked weird if it was fully connected to the body. So I ended up like, I don't know, I kind of laid it out in a weird way. I don't know if it really worked. But if anyone's curious too, the markers I'm using are Ohu markers. I think I only used Ohu markers for this one. And I didn't do a ton of crazy shading on either of the ones I did. The nice thing about Ohu markers too, if anyone is curious, because Ohu markers, with a set I have, at least, I have like 3 sets. I have like one with like multicolored, kind of all over the place colors, and then I have one with like skin tones, and then I have another one with more skin tones that are like a little bit, like I have a lot of skin tones basically because I use skin tones a lot, and I like more like tame earthy tones, so I use those the most. But as I was saying, the nice thing with Ohu markers though is you can layer them a lot, which I think you can kind of do this with Copics, but Ohu markers especially, I feel like you can really tell a difference if you want like a darker color. If you just lay it over a whole bunch, I don't know if that's how you say that. If you just shade it, I don't know how to freaking talk. If you like lay the color over multiple times, I hope this is making sense what I'm trying to say. You can like shade it, and it will like come out with like a completely different tone if you do it a lot. I will say though, obviously, if you're gonna do that, you probably want to have thicker paper because it will chew through your paper if you're using like I'm using an Ohu sketchbook right now. I just said Ohu sketchbook, Ela sketchbook. So the paper is like kind of meant, I think, for markers, or like it works really well for markers, so I didn't have that problem, but that's just a warning for other people. But it is a technique you can use, and so I didn't really use too much shading. I ended up just like doing that a lot and laying the color down over and over again, so I got different tones, especially like in the skin. Yeah, and I tried to color match as closely as I could to the original drawing. I didn't get like the exact colors because I don't have them, to be honest. I will say too, like the skin tone, I feel like especially is a little bit more I think it's a little bit more saturated than the original one. It kind of is giving Shrek a little bit, not gonna lie, especially with like the antennas. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this character is supposed to be like an alien. I think they might be, but I don't know. Yeah, and also this is like this large area that I had to color in ended up being very streaky, but you know, it is what it is. I had a lot of fun though too, coloring, or not coloring, but like drawing these pants, like the very baggy pants, and like figuring out the folds and stuff. That was very fun. And again, this pose, I'm not used to drawing this type of pose, so it was fun trying to figure out how the legs lay down, and also drawing like the waist area was very fun. I was also excited to do this one because it was using colors I don't usually ever use. Like I don't use a lot of greens. I feel like greens and like purples are the colors I use the least. I like, especially greens, like I do not ever use green, I feel like. So this was also kind of an excuse to get to use those colors a little bit. And I talk about this all the time, but I love drawing like crazy colored skin tones and stuff, which is very fun to like shade. And also it's like nice because it isn't wasting my my skin tone sets. I didn't have to use those at all, so it's a nice like excuse to use other fun colors to shade things. And it's kind of the reason why with like my OCs, I end up just giving them like, I literally gave them like green skin or like crazy colored skin, so I don't have to use those all the time. But yeah, and again, this was again, I think I am actually using a different shade of marker here. And I was just trying to get like all the different shades because I wanted there to be a contrast in the drawing. Again, I didn't do any crazy shading by a long shot. For all these, I think I was also debating, I ended up using, I think, just green to outline everything, which was a whole process too, because I think originally I was planning on not doing that, but I kind of forgot, so I ended up just shading everything. Yeah, also those like shoes too were so fun to draw, like the very big chunky shoes. I will say, I think, I'm not saying I failed this challenge, but I do think kind of a problem I have whenever I'm doing this challenge is I do kind of end up kind of just incorporating the original piece a little bit into my style anyway. So I feel like it's not always completely my own style, like, because I feel like I would never draw shoes this big or chunky, or like I feel like also like the pants too are a little bit more exaggerated than what I would probably normally do in my style, but I don't even care. I don't know. I feel like it is though, like, I don't know, if you're looking at this piece of art, I think it's impossible not for it to be at least a little bit inspired in your own. So I don't know. I do think though, like, definitely the facial features, which I would say is probably the most detailed thing in my own style personally, because it's what I draw the most. So like obviously the facial features are going to be very much stylized for myself because that's the thing I draw the most. I don't even know if what I'm saying makes sense. I did though have a lot of fun drawing these shoes. I love how like big and chunky there. It reminds me of like strawberry shortcake a little bit, and like the pants too. Like that was very, very fun. I had a blast coloring that into. I'm also very happy with just how this came out like on the page. Like I feel like I actually got it, like I actually laid it out well. I'm really bad at like the layout in a lot of my art. It's like something I struggle with because I'm not always like thinking properly. Nothing's new. So yeah, that was also something that I had to like, that I'm really happy with though that turned out in this one. I really like, also I ended up giving the character in the original one, like they are like smiling like very lazy, and they almost have like a little bit of a smirk on their face, which I also originally had that on mine, but I ended up having the character like biting their lip, and I just really, really like how that looks. I think it looks really cute. And I also love in the original one how like the green on their eyelids is like darker, and I think Also, I ended up adding like the lipstick too to make it a little bit darker, and I also like made the little like antenna things, like I kind of made them a little bit more like, I don't know, stylized, I guess. Because I do a lot of little like swirls and stuff in my art, so I kind of wanted to include that in this one as well. Which is really fun. I feel like the little swirls in my art that I tend to incorporate in like hair and stuff, and it ends up kind of throughout a lot of my stuff. I don't even know where that came from, but it's something I've incorporated for a while now, and I keep doing it because I don't know, I really like how it looks. It's a cute little stylized thing. Oh yeah, another thing that really like made me like gravitate towards this piece in the first place too was the hair. I loved like the green and the pink contrast, and the hair was so cute, and the way it's like in a ponytail is just, I freaking loved it, and I had to draw it because it looks so much fun. And the hair was just so much fun to do, and it was like a really interesting challenge too because I had to like figure out how to piece it and also I kind of was struggling too because I feel like it kind of looked like I had to use a lot of shading to help differentiate like the strands of hair because it would kind of like all clump together, so I had to like figure out how to do that too. But I think in the end I did a fairly good job, and I'm happy with it. She does though look kind of like a strawberry because I think also with like I was using lighter colors and more saturated colors, and so I feel like it makes her look a little bit more like a strawberry. But you know what, I'm okay with that. It's fine, it's all good. I think too, just like, I just love, again, the original one is so cute. I love the stylization too of the hands. Their hands look so much better than mine. And I also I gave my character a nose because, I don't know, I wanted it to have a nose, to be honest. And I feel like my noses are very distinct, so I wanted to include that because I always draw my characters with, you know, and I'm not sure too if this is just like the specific character that this person has made, if this is just like this character that doesn't have a nose, or if this is just their natural style, because I know like there's a lot of art styles out there that just don't have noses, or it might just be a character thing, I don't know, but I decided to give mine one. And I actually I'm really happy with how the shading on the nose turned out on mine, and I think my style would just look really freaking weird if I didn't have a nose. I think it really works for the original drawing, but I wanted to give mine one. And again, yeah, the hair took me a while just because, again, I wanted to make sure that it was all, you know, unique and that it all looked good together. And it ended up, I can't talk. I ended up also adding just little bits of like stray hair and stuff. I think I ended up changing the color of the eyes a little bit too to the original one. I gave them like light pink eyes. Originally I was going to give them green eyes, but I wanted to add more pink. And I didn't want to have it be the exact same color as the hair, so I made it a lighter pink color. And then I was just adding little details with a black Prismacolor pencil to really bring out some of the features. But yeah, in the end, I'm so happy with how this one turned out. I really took my time on it, and I feel like it shows. I also made sure to include like all the little freckles too, because I thought the freckles were really cute, and I love drawing like beauty marks and freckles on skin and stuff. So yeah, overall though, very happy with how this turned out. And yeah. This next one I found also, as soon as I saw it, it just like popped out to me, and I loved it. I love like, again, like the coloring. I love very like, I've especially recently been in a very like I love gothic stuff. I love it's also like September right now, and we're getting closer to October, and so like the more spooky stuff has been like calling to me, and I love like the more gothic aesthetic too. So like everything about this, and just like the very like almost Victorian looking dress and everything, I just knew I had to draw this. And I also just, the hair and the purple, like almost like purple skin, and like everything about this, I just love this drawing so much. The character design is so freaking cute too. And like the dress, oh yeah, everything about this I just freaking love. And working on this was so much freaking fun. I just had such a fun time drawing this one. I again love again, like coloring the skin and everything on this one was so satisfying. And again, this one also, I really did not use like that much shading. On this piece I did. I think I only used Copic markers on this one, I will say. And also though, again, here I'm also just layering the same colors over and over again. There's a little bit of difference. I used a couple of different colors to shade, like what I'm doing right now with the eyeshadow and stuff. That's a different color. But again, I did not do any crazy like shading on either of these. I will say too, like I feel like recently I haven't really been doing any crazy shading on stuff, and I think I do prefer that more to like, I don't know, sometimes I'll like do like studies, and that's whenever I like using like really crazy colors and stuff, and that's whenever I do quite a bit of shading. But on stuff like this, I really do, and like more stylized things, I prefer more simple shading, I find personally. With my art style, I think it just looks better. So yeah, again, I did not use anything too crazy, but I loved coloring this. It was so fun. I do think one of my regrets, I do kind of wish whenever I was coloring these like lighter gray stuff, I kind of wish I used a little bit lighter of a gray actually, because there's not that much of a contrast between like her little like collar and her dress. I ended up having to layer that like multiple times, as you can see, because I was really trying to get it to be darker, because I was using like my swatches that I have, because I have all these colors swatched out, and it looked a lot darker on the other paper that I was referencing. So yeah, I ended up having to layer this a lot. And there are like little tiny tweaks I made to the dress also. Like I ended up giving like the sleeves a little bit more puffier, and I didn't do the more like, in the original piece, she doesn't have those little like cuffs on the edges. It like kind of falls off. I don't even know how you describe that. But I just thought I wanted to change mine because I thought the color again was blending a little bit too much into the dress. So I ended up making them look a little bit differently, and I ended up making that little, I don't know, like the cuff is like connected to the ring. I don't know how to describe clothing. I'm realizing I'm like terrible at describing this. So yeah, I made couple little changes to mine, but most of the stuff I kept pretty similar because I freaking love the design of this dress. Yeah, working on this made me realize that like I want to do more like Victoria. I love period pieces. I love period clothing. Again, I love the gothic aesthetic. So like I just said aesthetic. I can't talk. So again, like everything about this was just so much fun. It was so satisfying to color. And yeah, working on this, it got me back, like, because I've been kind of in a little bit of a rut recently with my art, and this like really just made me miss also just doing traditional art as well, because I've been doing a lot of digital stuff recently. So yeah, this really brought me back. I also kind of purposely, whenever I was coloring the dress, I kind of purposely sectioned it off so that it looked like it was bunching in specific areas. I'm not sure if it came across that way, but that's what I was like trying to do. And yeah, drawing like this, like the corset and everything, oh, it was so fun. And I also love, I didn't really capture it as well, I feel like in mine. In the original one though, I love like the way that the camera is facing the character. It's almost like looking up. It's like looking down at the character a little bit, which I think is really cool. And I don't think I don't think it really looks like that on mine. Unfortunately, I don't think I captured that as well. But I really like just like this perspective on the original one. Because like I would never think to do that. I don't think about perspective that way. I would have just had mine probably looking head on. So that's another little thing I really loved about the original one as well that I didn't really get to incorporate in mine. And I also just like, I loved drawing those hands too. These hands definitely turned out better than the other ones I did. I love drawing like very long nails and stuff also, and like that was just a very fun thing to incorporate in this one. And as you can see here, again, also I'm kind of like, the way I'm coloring it, I'm trying to have it so it looks like the clothing is like bunching together in specific ways and on purpose. I also, obviously, I loved the choker. Again, I love drawing a good choker. I do that a lot in a lot of my art. It's very fun to do. I also will say too that the skin tone on this one, I made a little bit more purple than in the original one, because I don't really have many like light purples. So yeah, but I actually really like how the purple looks. And the hair, I was very nervous about the hair because there's like a lot of hair and it's very detailed in the original one, and I really wanted to get it right, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. I ended up adding a couple of little like tweaks of my own, because like I could not like fully replicate the original one because it looks so freaking good. And I was also worried because I was like realizing I was gonna have to figure out how to shade it, because the original one was done digitally. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be harder because like if I was doing this digitally, I feel like I could do that a lot easier. So I had to just layer a lot, and I had to like make sure that I was being careful with the way that I was laying down the darker colors so that I didn't like take away all the detail. But yeah, and I ended up also like giving the character a little bit more like bangs and stuff. And yeah, again, I'm just the hair, it might be my favorite part. Just the way that it frames the face and everything, I was so happy with. It's very much giving like Tim Burton, like Lydia Dietz, which I really like, honestly. So yeah, again, and I remember too when I was like sketching the hair out, I was like really proud with how it turned out. So I'm really, really happy that the shading turned out good too, because I really liked the sketch of it. So yeah, another thing where I was just like, oh, thank goodness. I think too, um, I think what I love about the original style too, is I just love how like it almost looks very like Bratz inspired a little bit too. I'm not sure if they are going for that, but the style is so cute on the original one. I love it so much. Um, the hair too, like there's that big swoop on the top, which I was also kind of afraid to do because I thought it was gonna look weird, but it ended up turning out like really cute. Yeah, and I think I actually made the hair even bigger on mine as well because I just again I wanted to get all the details. And yeah, obviously drawing like the scars and stuff was just so satisfying. It was like one of the parts I was most excited for. So yeah, and I also ended up not giving the character eyebrows because you couldn't really see them in the original one. And I'm not sure if they're supposed to, but I thought it would look cool if they didn't because I thought it would just give them a little bit more of like an uncanny valley look. Um, so yeah, overall though, love how this turned out. I'm so happy with it. Thank you everyone so much for watching this video. I hope everyone has an amazing day. And yeah, I'll see you guys again. Bye.